A defiant Donald Trump has hit out at the prophets of doom on climate change and insisted he would never let radical socialists destroy the American economy. Speaking at the 50th meeting of the World Economic Forum in Davos, Switzerland, the US president insisted, America is thriving, America is flourishing and, yes, America is winning again as he launched a direct attack on environmental alarmists, widely seen as directed at Greta Thunberg, the 17-year-old climate change campaigner from Sweden. She was in the audience for Mr. Trump's speech and later hit out at political leaders, telling them the world, in case you hadn't noticed, is currently on fire. In his speech to political and business leaders from around the world, the president, just hours ahead of his impeachment trial at the US Senate, declared, "This is not a time for pessimism, this is time for optimism. A time to reject the perennial prophets of doom and their predictions of apocalypse. We will never let radical socialists destroy our economy." Referring to climate activists, he went on, "These alarmists always demand the same thing, absolute power to dominate, transform and control every aspect of our lives." He branded them the heirs of yesterday's foolish fortune tellers. Mr. Trump announced the US would join an initiative to plant, restore and conserve 1 trillion trees. "We're committed to conserving the majesty of God's creation and the natural beauty of our world," he said. Reeling off a long list of economic statistics, Mr. Trump insisted the US was in the midst of an economic boom the likes of which the world has never seen. The president claimed America had pioneered a new model of trade for the 21st century and hailed recent agreements with China, Mexico, and Canada, noting how his relationship with Xi Jinping, the Chinese premier, was extraordinary, saying, "He's for China, I'm for US, but other than that we love each other." As Brexit approaches on January 31, Mr. Trump emphasized the prospect of a US-UK trade deal, adding, "We look forward to negotiating a tremendous new deal with the United Kingdom, who have a wonderful new Prime Minister, who wants to make a deal." Shortly after Mr. Trump spoke, Ms. Thunberg, who rose to prominence after staging a solo school strike protest in 2018, which was replicated by schoolchildren across the world, called for urgent environmental action at a session on averting a climate apocalypse. Without naming the president, she warned world leaders, "I wonder, what will you tell your children was the reason to fail and leave them facing climate chaos that you knowingly brought upon them? That it seemed so bad for the economy that we decided to resign the idea of securing future living conditions without even trying? Our house is still on fire," she declared. Your inaction is for more on this story. Visit the news article link.